This is February 7th, 2015. We're in the front of Willard Library, the oldest library in the state of Indiana. It's 137 years old, named after Willard Carpenter. He was a pioneer in Evansville history, a pioneer in the library history of Evansville and also Indiana. Today is a dedication of the building in the background behind the edifice that was created over 137 years ago. The building behind is going to be a gallery and a reading room and storage for some of the materials that is used in Willard Library. It's about 6,000 square feet, and we'll have another view of that in just a moment. We're in the middle of the park that surrounds Willard Library. You look at the edifice, it's still one of the most beautiful structures in the city of Indiana, the city of Evansville. As I do a panoramic view, we see Berry Plastics, their main office, a large industrial complex in Evansville, parked between Berry Plastics and the library, and a church in the background there, Manual Lutheran, and this is the First Avenue, a very busy street in Evansville, Indiana. And the other side of the street, we see Fire and Rain. Used to be one of our large fire department houses, and it's been made into Fire and Rain. Used to be a place for farmers to bring their produce. And another 360 around. This is our Lloyd Expressway, made in the early 80s, named after one of our mayors who was killed in office about 1978. It's an expressway that goes east to west, west to east, and is a good thoroughfare for the Evansville area. There in the background now, again, behind the tree there, that's another part of Berry Plastics, and the larger building behind the Willard Library is Berry Plastics, but it used to be called Fendrick Cigar. Evansville was a very famous cigar making place in Evansville, in Indiana. We had Fendrick and many other cigar companies here in the early 1900s. So we're going to see a celebration of the grand opening. It'll be a tea this afternoon. It's around 1:30. 2 o'clock will be the tea and a grand opening for this new structure that is adjacent to the old structure. This is a view of the Willard Library. This is a view from the south. Very beautiful structure made by and created by Willard Carpenter back in the late 1800s. And the new structure we're going to see in just a moment is over here, attached and behind to the east of the original structure. We're now at the front entrance of the old portion of the Willard Library, built in the late 1800s, established and endowed by Willard Carpenter in 1876. Willard Carpenter lived 1803 to 1883, and it was opened, as stated on the plaque, March 28th, 1885. Plaque at the entrance of the older portion of the building, Willard Library, Historic American Buildings Survey 1970, National Register of Historical Places, listed in 1972. This is a view of the front of the building, and this is a plaque that was placed in 2008 by the Captain Vandenberg, or Henry Vandenberg chapter, the NSADR, and this is in memory of Willard Carpenter and his philanthropy. The plaque states, Willard Carpenter, philanthropist, community leader, founder of Willard Library in 1885. This marker was placed by the DAR, Captain Henry Vandenberg chapter, which that chapter was organized back in 1896. It was placed May 26, 2008. And on the front of the plaque, it says what Willard would want said for all mankind. Welcome to Willard Library, landmark of service, crowning achievement of Willard Carpenter. Join us, read for pleasure, research genealogy, study local history, increase your knowledge. Thank you, Willard, and this edition I think you'll be very proud of. This is a close-up view of the new addition to Willard Library. We're going to have a grand opening here in a moment. It's about 1:45 and the crowd is already gathering. You look at the crowd in front of where we're going to have, between the two aisles, there's going to be a cutting of the ribbon, and the mayor will be here. And just a little bit view of this fabulous structure. We're looking from the north. We're looking from the southern view. There's a stairwell, large part of the big old building, still looking west, and then we go over to the new addition, and you see the new addition, and everybody's gathering for the grand opening of the new addition. This new addition's first addition in 137 years, but a great addition. It's going to be a gallery and a reading room and storage and easier access for people to do some of their genealogical research and other local history research. This is again the grand opening. Crowd's still gathering. Everybody's coming around the parking lot. A lot of them park over at Berry Plastics. See the beautiful edifice, Berry Plastics in the background. And looks like over 150, 200 people gathered so far for this opening of the new portion of Willard Library. Again, this is the gathering place for everybody to begin to see the grand opening of our new portion of Willard Library. This is the folks here. We've got probably over 200 people here right now, here to watch the grand opening of Willard Library. Very fortunate. There's Greg Hager, President, CEO of the library, all the library workers getting ready to come up for the ribbon cutting. Some of the board members over here to the left. As we look at the crowd, you can see the crowd, over 200 of them, and very interested in learning about our new library, the new portion of an old library. Very fortunate we've had such a good turnout. Advertised in paper, preparing construction, done the construction work on this new edifice, and Mr. Perrin is one of the board members on the library board, served for many years along with Ms. Eigelhard, Mrs. Hagee, and many other notables that will be in the film.
I am just floored to see this turnout. Honorable Mayor Winnicky, valued patrons, friends of the library, how satisfying it is to see all of you here on such a glorious day. I'm told Willard Library's original dedication was a not so glorious day in March. But even spring wants to arrive early in anticipation of our new Victorian garden and rejuvenated park, just as you've come to dedicate this splendid new facility. Willard Library is unique and in so many ways. An institution, there's my competition, an institution bearing the given name of its founder rather than his surname. A private institution serving the public. A home to a resident ghost. Special collections of books, documents, and artifacts that make it a unique repository of local history and knowledge. To paraphrase the great Sir Winston Churchill, Willard is a museum wrapped in a library surrounded by a park. Ultimately, though, Willard Library is unique in that it has remained a vibrant and relevant asset of the city of Evansville for 130 years in its original surroundings. Over the years, trustees, donors, and staff had the vision and engagement to restore and upgrade our gorgeous building and park, to refresh and expand collections and programming. But also over the years, we lost our neighborhood and proximity to our patrons. For 15 years or so, our trustees have added the mission of making Willard Library a destination, and this addition is a grand piece of that plan. Mr. Hager, our director, will touch on more pieces still to be finished. And I can report that we welcome today at least 2 international travelers to today's dedication. Some library, some destination. We tasked our building team to conceive a world-class facility true to period and harmoniously set in the surroundings, and which also satisfies our carefully articulated programming needs. Thus you see before you what, admittedly with some effort, resembles an enclosed sunken garden such as that featured in the Biltmore House in North Carolina and other grand period sites. One sees a pleasurable combination of brick, stone, water, wood, tiles, and colors. And one sees details. There is a grand and ancient cathedral church in the town of Lincoln in East Anglia in England. It is most well known for its imp. That's right, its imp. Placed by medieval stonemasons at the top of a soaring column, mixed with the decoration of its capital. The imp is a tiny detail mixed within a mass of detail, and discovering him has become a challenge nearly every visitor to the cathedral embraces. Our buildings are not quite so grand as a late medieval cathedral, but I am convinced that our new addition will likewise challenge visitors to grasp the marvels of its details over successive visits. Our design team spent in excess of 9 months working out these details you see before you. Surely a worthy investment of time for a facility that will represent and serve our city well beyond its borders for untold years. Allow me to thank our patrons for their unflagging support, to thank Hafer Associates for their design talent and enthusiasm, to thank Kieran Construction's site superintendent, Mr. Terry Newton, who crafted much of the gorgeous woodwork by his own hand and who is as personally invested in this project as anyone. And of course, all our generous donors, many of whom are listed on the building plaques, but specifically Mrs. Charlotte Rickard, from whose estate a substantial part of our budget sprang. That's it. Thank you, and enjoy your show.
Honorable Mayor Winnicky, esteemed guests and patrons, Library Board of Trustees, and Library staff, good afternoon and thank you for joining us in a true celebration of Evansville's past as well as its future. After a long construction project, it's very tempting to spike the ball and do a touchdown dance and pretend like we're finished. Sure, today is about fun. It's a housewarming party. However, new space, whether it's a new home or a new library addition, isn't an ending. It's an exciting beginning. Willard Library's new addition provides the opportunities that the historic part of Willard Library alone never could. It took a long time for the historic structure to become outdated. In that regard, 130 years isn't shabby. We should all be so lucky. So today, we marry a new addition with an historic structure and create a stronger, more vibrant Willard Library. Willard Library now can provide convenient access to the library archives in the Langford Archives Reading Room. The library now provides a gallery capable of presenting exhibits, displays, and serving as a venue for library and community events of up to 150 people. Looking ahead by a few weeks, we already have a nationally recognized author and literacy expert that will be presenting in the Browning Family Foundation Gallery. In the future, look for a week-long genealogy expo. By expanding Willard Library, we also took the opportunity to make the library park more accessible to the building and vice versa. We have created park spaces that encourage people, families, kids to not only use the library but also be outdoors. In a few weeks, our weather will become more consistently like what we have today. And when that happens, Willard Library will stand ready to provide families and our young patrons with fun picnic recreation equipment, hula hoops, soccer balls, jump ropes, Nerf footballs, even chess sets for use on our Central Park style chess tables. These can be checked out from the library and used in the park. In short, we become a more full-service library, a true destination for all. In addition to our project architect, Jack Faber, I'd like to thank our construction manager, Parent Construction Company, and Mike Shapter for their attention to detail. also want to thank Library Board President Ward Parent for conceiving of a way to provide a library addition that complements the historic architecture and guiding that design concept into a reality. As I've said in the past, Ward's idea was so good that it should have been mine. I'd like to thank the library staff as a whole, but in particular, Mike Dowdy, Melanie Niemeyer, and Emily Phillips, who were very much a part of day-to-day decisions and assistance concerning the shape of the addition. To our donors, not even just the donors to this project, but all of our donors over the years. If not for your generosity, none of this happens. And finally, I need to thank the man who started it all, who had the vision to realize that Willard Library would need to be expanded, who created the concept of a gallery at Willard Library. Indeed, who created the concept of a library in Evansville that would be open to all people, free of charge, forever. Willard Carpenter, who realized all of this 139 years ago in 1876. So ladies and gentlemen, today I say welcome to your new old library. It is also my pleasure at this time to invite the Honorable Lloyd Winnicky, Mayor of the City of Evansville, to offer a few remarks and to officially open Willard Library's new edition by cutting the ribbon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Lloyd Winnicky.
Thanks, Greg. What a great afternoon. I like history like a lot of people. So in 1876, Willard Carpenter writes a letter to the people that he hopes to be the first trustees of this library. It took 9 years for his dream to become reality. 9 years. I think today Willard Carpenter would be proud that one of the city's most important, most vibrant, and one of its largest employers is right next door. I think Willard Carpenter would be proud that an $30 billion international company is building its first North American research center right across the street. But most importantly, I think Willard Carpenter would be proud that Greg, the trustees, the patrons, the donors are carrying on his vision. And that vision that was so eloquently stated in 1876 was to improve the moral and intellectual culture of our city. So as his spirit is looking down upon us today, let's celebrate his vision and the great work that Greg and all of you have put forth to make today a reality. Thanks for being here. How about a countdown from 5?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
On in!
Wow. Fountain. There you go. Yes. Looks like a Mexican restaurant. Hey, are you one of the owls?
If you're thirsty, get you a drink.
Watch them all.
Philip, is this yours?
Your wife was right behind me here somewhere.
Sorry, yes, she needs. Hi there. Isn't this nice? I love this.
Rudy, come.
Slow.
Yeah.
I can't wait, so I'm good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
He doesn't sit back when you get the water.
Well, I hope he doesn't either. We better time to watch it.
They need a railing there.
He needs a railing so he doesn't fall.
Hey, Rudy. There's Rudy.
Your mom's coming, honey. She just sat over in this mom.
Hey, John, take that hat off there. Take that hat off. Let me see you here. You got your talk ready? You got your talk ready?
Touched? Yep, he's touched.
Hey, Tom. How you doing? All right, Tom. All right.
You get all those pieces in the minutes? there's ever been. There's also huge for, like for instance, the newspaper. It's not really fixable on the site. You go in there and do it.
Isn't this great? Isn't it great? Thank you for coming.
Great, I'm good. What are you doing now?
Get some Clydesdales down here.
Yes, sure.
Our thanks to your family for again being so generous. You represented both libraries.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing there? Keep those cemeteries in line. They got all the files in here. You got more files there than here.
I know the books. You got books here, right?
Hey Barb, say look at it. Say hello. Hey.
How are you, Art?
Okay.
I might have known you'd be here. How are you, Bubba?
Okay.
Good to see
Well,
you.
what a good day, isn't it?
You look rested for me.
Oh my God.
All right.
It's inside the Langford Gallery. See the Langford Gallery. Victorian style. A lot of old history of Evansville. This is the other room. This is the gallery. The other one was the Langford room. This is the Brown Gallery. The other one was the Langford room. Beautiful.
Well, I know. I try to educate.
This is the hallway to the other areas of the library. This is the area where people can study. The sites there. There's a little room here for people to study. One of the offices. Hallway that connects the other portion of the library. Big storage area for documents. Archives room. There's our archivist. Yeah.
Anything at all?
I don't know. I'm just now going through the photographs. I don't think so. If I do, I'll bring it together.
Would you like to have my card? Yeah, I'm always looking because I'm writing a book on this. I have about 7 chapters done. Hoping to have it out by December.
This is Kenny Wilson. He's giving a card to this lady. He's the authority on Republic Aviation, Evansville, Indiana, and the Republic Aviation that made the Thunderbolt P-47.
Don't hesitate to call me if you have.
Now,
I'm Diane Eigelhart, and I've been on the board of Willard. I'm now a Emerita, but I've been on the board of Willard for so long I can't remember how long. We have restored the main building in that time, and now we have this wonderful new addition, which is just great. We never thought we'd get to this point, but I'm so glad we did. It's going to be a great gift for the whole community. And thanks to Willard Carpenter, who wanted it for all people of all sexes, all races, all kinds to use forever. That's exactly what will happen.
thank you.
I'm Ward Perrinan. I'm president of the Willard Library Board, and I'm also president of Perrinan Construction Company. And this project was a long time in the making, but we took our time and we took a lot of care. And this is going to represent the city of Evansville well beyond its borders for a long, long time to come. It's going to be a fabulous resource for local history, for local artifacts, and just understanding where we came and hopefully figuring out where we're going to go.
And Ward, this is a beautiful structure. You have to be as proud of this as any construction you and your dad Leo and your other family members done. this is a top 10 of anything you've done, would you not say?
This is top two.
Top two.
Yeah, it was just a pleasure to be able to apply my accumulated knowledge in construction and my travels and larger cities and overseas and apply all the things I observed and learned all over these years to make this facility the top world-class facility that it is. It's just great.
And to marry an old facility with a new facility and keep it in scale and keep it flowing, very difficult demand, but you did a great job. Our hats are off to you.
That was the challenge, and I think from the crowds, we succeeded beyond even our goals. I mean, I think everybody's very, very happy with it. So it's great. It's just a great day.
Thanks.
I'm Mary Lou Beavers, and this is my husband Jim, and we have been doing genealogical research for over 40 years, and people don't realize what a jewel we have here in Evansville in Willard Library. This is one of the best research centers in the entire Midwest, and I've traveled a lot, and this really compares with the best.
All right, thank you, Ms. Beavers. Appreciate that.
The Browning Family Foundation Gallery at Willard Library is huge. It's a game changer for the way Willard Library will do business in the future. In the past, we had public service departments, and we could fit maybe 60 to 75 people comfortably. That's comfortably is our, maybe not so comfortably. When you get above that, you get into the hundreds, you start really having an impossible situation. So this gallery enables us to have 150 people in chairs. And when we don't have 150 people in chairs, we can have exhibits and displays. It's fantastic. It does a world of difference for Willard Library.
The ambience of the room, the Langford room, the Browning room, the whole building, you've married it to the old building, and it is it's in harmony. How difficult was that, Greg, to make this in harmony?
We spent 9 months, and we'd have fights and debates with the design team, and it all worked out in the end. And I think that the finished product is reflective of Willard Library. And that was the idea to win in. So I think we achieved that.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for inviting us. A great day. Probably over 300 to 400 people came in today, and that's an underestimate.
Well, and this goes until 5 o'clock, so I hope we see a whole bunch more. So great.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I'm Bill Bartell, and I'm thrilled to be here today for the opening. Willard Library has always been a great treasure for the community and has such a collection of local history that really documents our past. And now there's a facility where that can be stored properly and can be examined, and it's a first-class operation, and I'm just so pleased that this has come into reality.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Brian Langford, and this is my mother Leona Langford and my father Ron Langford. And you're in the Langford Reading Room as we speak. We were contributors for that, and this is quite a historic day for Willard Library, but also for the city of Evansville. The library's been here since 1885, and it's very unique. It's a great historical building, plus there's a lot of genealogy that people can do on the second floor. And I've traced both sides of my family and have had great success with that over the years, as many people have, but I think it's a hidden gem for the city of Evansville. Plus, now we have the archives that's separated out, so I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of our archives and what actually is in there. So it's a great facility, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
Well, I appreciate Brian and Mr. and Ms. Langford for your generosity. This is called the Langford Room, and this room will be the reading room. When you enter from the outside, it'll be a very pleasing thing for the public, and your generosity made this happen. And on behalf of Willard Library and the city of Evansville, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for your contribution.
Hi.
Susan and Steve Worthington. I am currently on the Board of Trustees and Treasurer and have been for probably 15 plus years, and this is just a wonderful time in the history of our community, particularly Willard. Ward and Greg have done such a wonderful job. The detail work on the construction, it's amazing.
And all the things that it houses, and your dad used to be chairman of the which bank, and then we have all their archives here.
Yes.
What was he in charge of?
He was chairman at the National City Bank, which then became Integra.
And we have all the archives of old records from there, which are fabulous.
Yes. And actually, Bob Jones at Old National made sure that happened, and it's a testimony to them as well that they would do that. So, very proud.
It was a fabulous day. This is a beautiful place. The wainscoting is probably as nice as your house, or better.
It's beautiful. In fact, my father is now 94, and he grew up on Illinois Street, not too far, and he said he's spent a lot of happy hours here.
So real near here, and he read here as a kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Worthington.
Moorhead. I'm with
again.
And Emily Moorhead, my wife, and I'm with Carpenters 224 out of Evansville, Indiana. And I worked for Terry Newton and Ward Perrin, and I did a lot in part in taking care of installing all the trim and all the.
So the wainscoting is all your wainscoting?
Yeah, the crown, the wainscoting. Yeah, it was a privilege to be a part of this entire job. I mean, Willard Library has such a big history in Evansville, so it was good to be here. Yeah,
it's about an 8-inch or up on the top, about 8-inch, and then on the bottom the wainscot about 3 feet.
Yep, that's it takes about 10 pieces to put all the wainscot together, and there's a 2-piece crown.
2-piece crown.
Yep.
And then what kind of wood is that? Is that oak?
It's all white oak.
And stained or not stained?
It's stained. Yeah. And besides that bottom, it's painted, and it's poplar.
What's that mean?
It's the type of wood it is. It's poplar.
Poplar. And then you did both rooms the same way?
Yes. Well, that room in there, what is it? The archive room? I don't believe it doesn't have the wainscot, but
that's the room where they give the speeches. No wainscot in there.
Yep.
But this is the Langford room, and there's wainscoting in here.
Yes. Plenty of it.
And then tell me about the trim on top of the door. Can you tell me about that, where you came up with that idea?
I can tell you a little bit about it. Terry Newton had a large part to do with it, and it was supposed to be inspired from the 18 or 1960s with all the very small trim and the intricate trim. But yeah, Terry Newton did an exceptional job putting those together.
Similar to the other building.
Very similar, right.
So to marry an old building with a new building, not easy, but you've done a very, very good job.
The architects and the engineers did a great job,
Well, thank you very much, both of you.
Okay, yeah, these transoms were put together by Terry Newton. He did a great job. I helped install them.
How many pieces are up there?
I believe there's 32 of these smaller ones, and there's 16 or 32 of the bigger ones as well. There's definitely more small ones, but I helped install all the rosettes, but Terry put together.
Is that just one piece there?
No, it's a lot. There's a lot going on there. There's probably 10 pieces there. They're all routed out to perfection.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
My name is Robin Church, and Dr. Browning was wanting me to tell you my connection with Willard Library. And for years, I lived on the corner of Southeast 1st and Mulberry in Evansville in a house built in 1871 by the Ricker family from Salem, Massachusetts. And around the 1880s, they had a couple of boarders move in with them. The Reed brothers, who designed the original Willard Library. And there are very many architectural details between the house I lived in for so long and Willard Library. So I have a very deep affinity for Willard Library. I felt the spirit of the Reed brothers in the house, and definitely when I go into the original Willard Library. Very special.
What's the address on 1st Street?
It's 602 Southeast 1st Street, and some of the architecture you can only find in that house. It's very New England. It was originally built as a Second Empire cottage, and in the late 1880s, maybe even the Reed brothers helped do some additions to make it look more like a Queen Anne. But I've seen the original drawings from the city maps and plat maps before it was added onto and made more into a Queen Anne, which was a style. Everyone in the Victorian age wanted to keep up with the modern stuff. But originally, the only time I've seen houses remotely like the house at 602 was when I have gone to New England, and there are very, very many houses, like with the corner coins and the different clapboard, that I've only seen in New England.
Is this building, the Willard Library, the older portion, similar to that house?
Yes, the older portion of Willard Library is very similar. A lot of the details, although the woodwork in the Willard Library is oak, and the woodwork in the house I lived in was walnut, but very, very similar in many ways, outside and inside, and you can feel the same spirit. But yeah, the Reed brothers, then the better part of history, they were so famous for building or designing Willard Library. They were hired by the people who built Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, and it was local money. People from Princeton and here, the Eigelharts and all, who built Hotel Del in California, but the Reed brothers also designed that.
Thank you very much, Robert.
And that building, Hotel del Coronado, is the hotel in Some Like It Hot, where Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis were cavorting.
I'm Jean Denton-Brubeck, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees at Willard Library, and I have been for a number of years. This edition is something we've talked about for years. It's really special to me particularly, I think, because I went to graduate school at the University of Michigan, and when the Law Library decided to expand, they went underground and made all kinds of national news. I think we'll do the same. I think Willard's very special to this community. We serve a very diverse population. And the really great news over the last few years is we have incredible children's programs that we're really seeing wonderful results from. So thanks to all of our donors and everybody who came today. It's been a very special day.
Thank you, Ms. Brubeck.
I'm Harold Morgan. I live in Mount Vernon and Willard Library. I spend half my time in Willard, the other half outside of Willard. I started doing history research and writing books about 12 years ago, and almost all of it has been in Willard Library. Without Willard, I would not have done a single book, and so far I have done 4. The photos, the history, the microfilm of the newspapers, the kind help from the staff. Without Willard, I'd probably retired and gone to the couch, spend my days in mowing the grass or something, but Willard has made my life full and complete.
What do you think about this new building?
Oh, this is fantastic. I don't know that it'll be easier, but it sure will be prettier and nicer looking to work down here in the new Willard Library Annex. It can't be any better than the old one, but it will be nicer, brighter, and maybe quieter.
Thanks, Hal. Big Dowdy, he's been helping with all the facility here at Willard, and why don't you explain what's over these windows in the corner, and then what they're going to do with the brick there in the corner, Mike?
Well, the brick on the corner, they came up with the wrong size brick at one time. They are going to be like an octagonal shape. You can see the bottom side of it where they started on it and figured out there's the wrong size. And that will go up and meet the stone.
Let's see.
And then they'll brick the rest of it out going up to the rest of the building. And above the windows there will be some stone pieces.
And then above,
I believe it's stone. It's either stone or brick. I'm not positive of. They had problems with the design of the brick and everything, so they had to start all over.
And then that, what's that metal there on the brick there?
Metal is for plants.
I see.
Wisteria.
It'll grow all along the wall, and the next year or two we'll see wisteria up and down the wall.
Yes. There's 3 of them on this side of the building, and then there's 4 more on the Oakley side, Oakley Street.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for showing this detailed architecture. Appreciate it, Mike.
Sure.
I'm Dee Browning. This is my daughter, Jeannie Browning. She's my youngest daughter. We're both Geminis. We were born in June. And today is the dedication of the new addition to Willard Library. What a wonderful and glorious day it has been. sitting in the reading room, and overlooking in the back of the reading room is the gallery, and it's the Browning Family Gallery. And it's named for us because we have done work for Willard. We love Willard. We know how important it is, and so that's how that stands.
Okay, tell us the importance of this library and how it's been important in the last 2 decades to you and your mother and your other family members.
On a personal basis, Willard has been important because Charlie did most of his work here.
Your husband Charlie did a lot of genealogy.
Browning did most of his genealogy work here. He scanned the newspapers, and I don't mean just scan, he worked through the newspapers to record all the obituaries. And he went back to 1906, a very strong.
And this library helped a lot.
In this library.
And Jeannie has helped keep that up. And this is Jennifer Browning and Jeannie Browning Hester. What do you think about this day, both of you? What's this been like looking at this building, and what is your first impression of this architecture and the beauty? Jeannie?
I'm so impressed with how they tied the old to the new. Not only did they tie the old to the new by the decorum and by the architecture, but they also connected the old to the new. So there is a pathway that will take you into the original library of Willard, where you will meet upon the children's library. So the children's library is a focus point for many new young families. And so today, in the celebration, there were ages 0 to 100 who came to this celebration. And there were tours that took the little children from the new building into the original building and connected to the children's library. And I was very touched with how the little children reacted to the beauty of today.
And Jennifer, what do you think about this wainscoting? This is the Langford room that we're sitting in, and the room in the background is the Browning Gallery. What was your initial impression of these lights and the beauty of this building?
Well, I think it's just repeating what Jeannie said, is how it all flowed together. They tried to carry out the theme throughout, and what they've done with all the other extra details shows that that's what they were trying to accomplish, is to bring that all through. There's an appetite for this now in this community, and there were people that came through today that spoke of how they've never been through this particular library, but they see what's available, and you can tell, as Jeannie said, some never knew there was even really much of a children's library down here. So they're seeing that can meet a lot of needs, just as the other public libraries in town.
Okay, well, thank the 3 Browning ladies and Hester in the middle. I appreciate all the help today. What's your name, sir?
My name is William Cook, K-O-C-H.
And then you live near here. This is Willard Library. You lived here and you used to play baseball right here in this park as a child. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Trinity Lutheran School was located to the north of the building here, and on the east end was the 7th and 8th grade ball diamond. And we did a brand new hardball, a softball, which was a big one. And then we would see who could hit it the hardest to put it on the 2nd floor windowsill of the library. And thank the good Lord, we didn't break any windows.
Right now, you're sitting about probably in center field. Right here,
would imagine.
Center field's where we are right now, and behind me is the main library, and you were trying to hit it through center field, so home base is in the background there.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, I bet, did you study every day here?
I'm sorry?
Did you come here to study every day?
Well, we did quite a bit. Not every day, but quite a bit.
Was it a good library to study?
Very good. They had very good books, and whatever the subject matter, I think they pretty well covered it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate all the stuff you've done for Evansville with Republic Air and with the P-47 Museum and everything else we're doing in Evansville, and your service in World War II. Appreciate that.
Thank you so much, and we hope that we'll get the Freedom Heritage Museum going.
Yeah, we're on the way.
My name is Lynn Martin, and I'm Special Collections Librarian.
Special Collection Librarian here at Willard.
Yes.
And I'm Rosemary Hollingsworth, and I'm a genealogist, and I've been doing research for over 30 years.
Mostly at Willard.
Yes, pretty much at Willard most of the time.
Okay, and tell us how this new addition is going to help this library and help the service to Evansville.
Well, we have a very large genealogical collection that covers all the states, plus national and international resources. And with this new addition, with the archives moving downstairs, we will be able to reorganize our collection and expand it to cover even more services for the genealogical community.
You've worked here 30 years. Can you tell us how nice a service this is, and how much you searched on your family? What year have you gone back to, and how is the library a good service for you?
The library has been a wonderful service for me, and the people that work here are absolutely fantastic. They go way over what a normal worker would do to help out their patrons. And I started out with just very little, and I've traced back my ancestry to the British monarchy, which goes back even further. And through help with the LDS ordering microfilms, I have been able to trace my ancestry back to Germany, and I've done research, and I've gone actually to Germany to do research because the Willard Library gave me the opportunity through all the microfilms that I've ordered.
Well, thank you both very much, and a beautiful day here, a beautiful new structure. Thank you very much for everything that the library does, and thanks for really being here, Dave. This is our archivist, Pat Sides. Can you tell us, Pat, how this is going to make a difference here in your, move over that way, how this is going to help your service to the community in Evansville, Indiana, and Vandenberg County in Indiana itself?
Yes, I'm in charge of taking care of our historical documents and organizing them to make them accessible to the public. And we have so many things that have been in storage for years because we have a lot of things and not enough room. And now with this nice big storage space, we can consolidate things, and I can work with them more often, and just will expedite the whole process of getting records to people, and we'll know what we have. So. And
you often put things in the Evansville paper like once a week or so, just about Evansville history. You'll continue to do that for
yes.
Evansville and people interested in Evansville.
Yes, yes.
What do you think about this building? How you like it?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's everything we dreamed it would be. I mean, I don't know how it could be improved. So.
And the ambiance, think that would make customers just feel better even about just being here?
I think so. People like new things, but it's a perfect blend of the old and the new. You can just feel the history here, and it's got something to offer for just about anybody who comes in here.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, this is the invitation that we sent out to a lot of people for the dedication of the new wing, which you can see here in the foreground. And it's a very historic day. It's the very first edition since the building opened in 1885.
Thank you very much. This is the owl imprint on the back side of the building. We're on the eastern portion of the new addition, and the owls are symbolic of wisdom, and the owl's up on the older building from 1885, and the owl symbolizes wisdom, and many owls around this new library. Very nice day.